Let's talk about this even further. Now, I'm joined now by retired NASA astronaut Leroy Chow. Leroy, great to see you. I mean, is it your feeling that this is the decision that you were expecting?
Yeah, I think everybody in the business is not surprised. Nobody's surprised, I should say. This is what we all thought was going to happen. Since more questions came out about those thrusters, and basically those thrusters, as you heard, they're getting too hot, and they believe the Teflon seals are bulging, being extruded out and constricting propellant flow, causing a degradation of performance. And as we also mentioned earlier, those thrusters are critical for lining up the spacecraft for the deorbit burn to bring the astronauts down. And so this was the right decision. It's a little conservative. It's a flight test. There's going to be risk, but of course we want to minimize what risk there is. Starliner will come down autonomously. Butch and Sunny will basically replace two members of the Crew 9 mission. So they're going to be in space for a long time, about cumulative time around 8 months.
Yeah, and what do you think that time is going to be like for them?
Oh, it'll be fine. They're both consummate professionals. They've both flown long duration missions before. They know how to operate the space station, and they can learn how to operate the experiments that they haven't done before. As far as coming down, they have not been trained on Crew Dragon. However, the Dragon only requires really one, and there will be two others who have, or two in total, that have been trained on it, who can fly the craft back manually in some kind of manual mode if necessary. And so they'll come down essentially as passengers, but they're going to fly suits up for them on the Crew 9 mission. And so they'll have the protection on the inside as well, in case there's some kind of a problem.
And what does it say to you about the Boeing Starliner and its uncrewed return?
Yeah, it's a pretty big hit for Boeing reputationally. Starliner is already way behind schedule. Cost almost twice as much to develop as SpaceX. SpaceX, of course, has been flying astronauts to and from ISS for around 3 years. And of course, it doesn't really look good for Boeing that SpaceX is going to step in and bring these two crew members down. But you heard the commitment made. NASA does want at least two ways to get astronauts to and from ISS. So NASA is committing itself to making sure that Starliner does get redesigned, fixed up, and will eventually fly and take astronauts to and from ISS.
This is really unusual, for a variety of reasons, but unusual that the astronauts will be brought back on a different, apparatus than their actual, launch. Does this send a stronger message to the future of space exploration?
Well, I think the message that it really sends is that, look, NASA has learned its lessons from the past, from Challenger, and especially more recently Columbia, even though that itself was 21 years ago. But they've learned these lessons, and we're not going to get complacent. We're not going to get carefree about this, if you will, and go ahead and bring them down on the Starliner just because. And so there was enough evidence that we don't exactly understand what's going on to cause the members of Flight Readiness Review to say, look, we're going to take the conservative approach, which I think is the right one, and bring them down on a SpaceX vehicle in February.
Overall, do you see this as a setback, or is this a step toward a better, stronger, system?
Well, it's certainly a setback for Boeing, but as far as the overall program, I think it's a step forward that we have made sure that we didn't get complacent after the Columbia accident. After Challenger, after all those years, we got complacent again. And even before Challenger and the Apollo 1 fire, it took almost the same number of years for complacency to kind of creep back in. So this is good evidence that we did not allow that to happen after Columbia. And so it looks like we've really learned our lesson, and that's a very positive step forward.
All right. Leroy Chow, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.